Rhode Island has a lot of historical cemeteries. I don't know if people who aren't from Rhode Island quite get the extent of that, but Rhode Island has about 3,200 historical cemeteries that are known, that have been located. There are some that haven't been located yet. They're known from historical records. There are others that were lost to development projects or what have you, that bodies were exhumed and reinterred in larger cemeteries for like a road project or something like that. There's a lot of reasons that cemeteries may not exist anymore. They may be lost. But in any event, there are 3,200 historical cemeteries in Rhode Island. Now, Rhode Island is also 1,200 square miles. So what that works out to is 2.63 cemeteries, historical cemeteries, per square mile in Rhode Island. That's the highest density of historical cemeteries per square mile nationwide. Rhode Island's also a very old state by United States standards, so it shouldn't be entirely surprising that the longer a state has been around, the longer time there's been for people to be dying here and being interred in a Western type cemetery. But anyway, so I've been working on a cemetery project lately that grew out of a headstone repair I did down in Bristol, Rhode Island, and I've been working on locating some historical cemeteries where enslaved peoples have been interred, which is honestly most of them. When it comes to colonial era cemeteries, enslaved peoples are very common in the North. I've been working on, getting out to some of these cemeteries, cleaning them up, locating them if need be. And today I just wanted to talk about a weird thing that happened recently in this work. My wife Julie and I were heading out to North Kingstown Historical Cemetery number 180, which is definitely one of the largest slave cemeteries held on private land. And there are potentially almost 90 burials here, all of enslaved peoples. So for this project I'm doing, I'm like, okay, I'd like to get out there, I'd like to clean it up, I'd like to see maybe there are initials on some of the stones. I want to see just the layout, the condition, and generally make it known that these type of historical locations exist in Rhode Island. So there are two websites that I tend to bounce back and forth between when doing this cemetery work. One is Find a Grave, which you may have heard of. It's sort of a resource you can look up anybody's grave worldwide, and it'll let you know where it is, provided there's documentation of it and someone has added it to the database. And then there's the Rhode Island Historical Cemeteries Commission database, where all of the historical cemeteries in Rhode Island are compiled, and they're put on this map that you can see right now. I had read about it in this book on African American burials in New England. I learned about NK180 from this book, and it said that in the caption, it's off Stony Fort Road or whatever. So I'm like, okay, North Kingstown. I grew up in North Kingstown. I bet I can find this pretty easily. So I found it using the historical cemeteries database, and I'm like, okay, basically get to Stony Fort Road, make a left, and it's the cemetery to the right of the stream. So the day my wife and I were heading out there, now I'm on Find a Grave, the website gives you the coordinates, so I'm like, okay, it'll direct us to there, and then it's a short hike. It says it's like 1,200 feet off the road or whatever, nothing that big of a deal. But we're going to have to hike a little bit. It may be really overgrown, maybe hard to notice. So it would be nice to have a GPS tag to see where we are in proximity to it at any given time. Now, I thought it was weird that now it's telling me to go right on Stony Fort Road, but maybe I'm thinking, no, this is 2 weeks ago. I was looking at the other one. Maybe I'm just confused. Maybe I had the thing flipped the other way and I was going backwards on the GPS map. Whatever, it doesn't matter. This is leading us directly to NK180. So the first time we got there, we saw how intensely overgrown it was. Couldn't get very far into the woods. But we realized, okay, come back with hedge clippers and branch loppers, and we can get out there no problem. So we head out, super hot. We're pretty much following the deer trails and cutting back the prickers and the low-hanging skinny branches and stuff that are growing, and we're getting a really clear path that at least the deer are going to appreciate next time they have to walk through this area. So we get to a place that seems like it has maybe some headstones, and I'm not finding anything else. I pull up the GPS map, and we're not there yet. We go a bit further, another clearing, not there yet. And finally we get there, and you can see on the GPS map, it's sort of where there's the wall that we're loosely following, and then where the wall goes off to our left, that's the corner of the cemetery, so we're sort of half framed in, though not completely. It seems like maybe it was tucked off to the back of someone's property, which is common, get everybody out of the way, bury the dead there. But there are no stones here at all. There's nothing that we're finding that can be misconstrued as a cemetery. There's nothing that we're finding that could be misconstrued as a headstone. There's not even random field stones that have tumbled down off of the stone walls, and someone's like, oh, look, there's a headstone here. We're not finding anything like that. And we were wandering around quite a bit. It's a clearing in the forest. There are no stones. There's some low brush, but we're not finding anything. This is not a cemetery. So now I'm confused. I realized going in this second, while we were walking out there, I realized it seemed there was a discrepancy between Find a Grave and the Rhode Island Historical Cemeteries Commission. So my thoughts are, one of these cemeteries is wrong, but someone tagged them both as cemeteries, so they obviously have to be cemeteries. So we get out, we've hacked like a quarter mile or whatever into the woods, and there's just nothing. Nothing even closely resembling a cemetery. So that leaves us with a bit of a mystery. I haven't yet been out to the proper cemetery. That one's on private property. I'm going to have to go and ask permission to, drive up these people's driveways and park and hike out. But I still thought that there would have been two cemeteries. I thought that the mystery would have been, well, what cemetery is this in reality? And then I would be able to go through the Rhode Island Historical Cemeteries database and say, okay, it's not NK180, it's NK, I don't know, 220. It's not that one. I don't know what that actually is. I just made up that number. But there's nothing there. So somebody was out in the woods and they actively tagged that as NK180. It's not the location of NK180, and it's apparently not the location of any cemetery whatsoever. There's not even anything that can be misunderstood or misinterpreted as a cemetery there. So that was a whole lot of effort to sort of blaze a trail to nothing. I want to revisit it and make sure there's nothing that we magically missed, although I really, really don't think that there is. But we still haven't gotten to NK180 now. I just wanted to give you a glimpse as to the type of work that is needed of cemetery volunteers, because it can be very daunting work. It's hot work, it's sweaty work, sometimes it's fairly heavy lifting. And then apparently sometimes it's a whole lot of work to get through the forest and find nothing at all. That's it for now. I'll keep you updated as to everything that winds up going on with this project. I just thought that there were some pretty cool video showing the type of work that we're doing in regards to this project and how it's coming along. If you like it, click like. If you want more without having to actively seek it out, click subscribe. If you want to help out, Pedal Powered Anthropology is now a registered nonprofit. I'm still working on acquiring the 501c3 status, but by the time it matters, I will have it. So any contributions that you feel like making to Pedal Powered Anthropology, you can head over to patreon.com/anthrospin, and donations in any amount are now tax deductible, which is kind of fun. Thanks for watching, and I don't know. Thanks for watching.